What is up, sexy beast? Crazy Rabbit here, and today we're going to be doing the Browning versus the Gorgon and looking at both these weapons on round 50, so let's go ahead and get this shit started. So as per usual, the first thing I'm going to do is let you guys watch and listen to both these weapons, both the unupgraded versions and the upgraded versions, just that way you guys can get a feel for them, so here you go. So previously I have done the Browning versus the Dingo, but I had a lot of people ask me to do the Browning versus the Gorgon. And in hindsight, I kinda wish I would have done like the Gorgon versus the HK-21, because these two guns aren't as similar as I thought they would be. So when it comes to the first test, the fire rate, we compare both of them side by side. I had to actually lower the Browning down to 50 shots because it carries 125, which is just a little itty bit more than 50. And it took me like 20 million tries to actually get it down to 50, because unlike in Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, and Black Ops 3, it doesn't actually tell you the number, it just shows you how many shots you have left in the Gorgon. So, you know, it's kind of hard to actually count down every individual shot. So it might be at 51 or 52 or 49, it might not be at exactly 50, and even if it's not at exactly 50, it really doesn't matter. The Browning's fire rate is just by far superior to the Gorgon's, to the point where you really have to question why I even decided to compare these two fire rates side by side in the first place. We all know that the Browning is going to be like 10 times faster than the Gorgon. So the next thing we're going to be looking at is going to be accuracy, so hipfire and recoil. Let's look at hipfire first. So when it came to hipfire, this one was kind of tough to decide which one actually wins, because the Gorgon, since it has a slow fire rate, its hipfire isn't really going to be that good because it's not going to be spraying all over the place, but it's more controllable. And when it comes to the Browning, it has a much faster fire rate, so when it comes to hipfire, you can spray for days, but that recoil is going to be pretty bad, and it's going to take your gun straight up and to the right. And when it comes to which one has smaller reticles, you got to give it to the Browning. But man, that Browning's recoil is just super bad. Like, you have to burst fire if you want to do anything with hipfire with this weapon. So overall, when it comes to hip firing, I'm going to have to say they're tied. That recoil for the Browning really does suck, but as long as you're burst firing, you're definitely going to be able to hit your target. When it comes to the Gorgon, you could just hip fire for days and not have to burst fire or anything, and the only bad part about it is its slow fire rate. Now when it comes to recoil, this one is an obvious winner. If we ADS and start shooting, the Gorgon barely even moves while the Browning just goes straight up. The Browning has some insane recoil, similar to a lot of other World at War weapons. Like, World at War weapons were very realistic when it comes to recoil. And I would also say Black Ops 1 weapons were too, but like Black Ops 2 and 3, they kind of toned down the recoil on all the weapons. And when it comes to these two, I'm definitely going to have to give it to the Gorgon. Alright, and this next test I think is pretty cool. So this is going to be the running test. Whenever I can get two LMGs on the same map, I prefer to do this. So this is basically just going to tell me which one you can actually run with faster. And if we start right here at the help door and we run straight down past power to this door right here, you can tell that you move a little bit faster with the Gorgon. Now in my mind, and actually when I was recording this footage, it seemed like I was just way more faster with the Gorgon than the Browning. But when you actually compare the footage side by side, the Browning can actually keep up. I feel like you run out of stamina quicker with the Browning, but the overall movement speed with the Browning isn't as slow as I thought it was compared to the Gorgon. Alright, and the last test we're going to be looking at before we actually get to the upgraded versions is going to be the reload speed. Now this one really did surprise me, because when I think of the Browning in World at War, a couple things come to my mind. One, inferior to the MG42, and two, fucking long ass reload time. That Browning's reload time was incredibly long, but when you look at it compared to the Gorgon, it's not so long anymore. The Gorgon actually does have a longer reload time, which really did surprise me. I was not expecting that whatsoever. I was actually expecting the Gorgon to just whip the Browning's ass, but it was actually reversed. The Browning whipped the Gorgon's ass. So when it comes to reload speed, you gotta give this one to the World at War Browning. Alright, so next up, we're going to be taking a look at how much ammo these things actually do hold. So the Browning M1919 is going to hold 125 in the magazine and 500 in stock, which is a lot of fucking ammo. And when upgraded to the B115 accelerator, it's going to hold 125 in the magazine, so really nothing changes there. And it's going to hold 750 in stock, which is a fuck ton of ammo. Compared to the Gorgon, which is going to hold 50 in the magazine and 250 in stock, or when upgraded to the Athena Spear, 100 in the magazine and 500 in stock. So when it comes to ammo, you by far got to give this one to the Browning. The Browning kicks ass when it comes to ammo. I love me some LMGs, man. It's really funny to see, like, in Black Ops 1, how the LMGs just carry so much more ammo than every single other weapon. Like, the LMGs in Black Ops 1 will hold, like, the Browning stats, compared to, like, some of the other weapons, like some SMGs that barely even carry 200 shots. So I just think it's pretty funny to see, like, the difference in ammo between certain types of weapons. Alright, now that we have both these weapons pack-a-punch, let's go and take a look at all those tests over again, and nothing really changes if we look at all these tests over again. The Browning is still going to win in fire rate. I got the Browning down to 100 instead of 125. Started firing at the exact same time. The Browning is still going to come out victorious. The Gorgon did get a little faster, but the Browning is just by far like 20 times faster than it. When it comes to the hip fire, I'm going to have to again say they're tied. Nothing really changes when you actually upgrade it. And when it comes to recoil, again, I'm going to have to give this one to the Gorgon. The Browning just has some insane recoil. And if we do the running test again, we start at the help door, we run past power and go back to this door right here. Again, the Gorgon is still going to be victorious. You really don't sprint that fast with the Browning out. And lastly, if we take a look at the reload speed, again, the Browning is going to be victorious here. So really not much changes between the unupgraded versions and the upgraded versions when we're looking at like the comparison. Like in reality, a lot changes when you pack-a-punch the Browning and a lot changes when you pack-a-punch the Gorgon. But when you look at those changes compared to each other, the pack-a-punch versions of the Browning and Gorgon are still going to win just as they would in the unupgraded versions. And for this last test, I thought we would throw on Double Tap and Speed Cola. And you really do need Speed Cola if you're going to be using an LMG just because of that long reload time. And if we throw those two perks on there, nothing really changes besides they get a lot faster. You're not going to notice that the Gorgon is magically 20 times faster than the Browning, and you're also not going to notice that the Browning is magically like 50 times faster than the Gorgon. Nothing really changes but the overall speed of both these weapons. Alright, so now let's take a look at both these weapons on round 50 plus. Would you guys like to see the round 50 comparison like this, or how I did it in the old videos, side by side or just one at a time? So take a look at the Browning first. So the Browning on round 50 plus isn't really that good. The Browning is not a powerful weapon whatsoever. The only really redeeming factor about it is it carries a fuck ton of ammo. On round 50, it's a very bad weapon to have. I would just say stay away from it at all costs. You run too slow, so you're constantly going to be attacked by zombies. If you try to just sit there and shoot, you don't put out enough damage, so you're really not going to be killing a lot of zombies. It's just an overall bad weapon. On early rounds, it's absolutely fantastic. You get this, and you sit on that catwalk for days, you just have so much ammo, and it has a pretty decent fire rate that you can kill almost anything that comes at you. But once you start to get up there, it just doesn't do enough damage, and you move way too slow to do really any strategy. That I would stay far away from this weapon on high rounds, because if you're going to use it, you're kind of just asking for death. Now, I'm not saying that you can't get kills on high rounds, it's just extremely difficult and a painstaking task. You're going to have to unload a lot of ammo into those zombies before you actually do start taking them out. Now, if we take a look at the Gorgon on the other hand, that's a different story, because the Gorgon is way more powerful than the Browning. It may not have the fire rate, it may not have the ammo, but it definitely does have the damage, and on round 50, you can definitely notice that it is way more powerful than the Browning. All you have to do is get those zombies in one straight line, line them up, aim for the head, and just unload, and you will start to notice that you're taking them out really quick. And unlike the Browning, you can actually move a little bit faster with the Gorgon, so it's not a pain in the ass to actually run with. It still is going to be a lot slower than an assault rifle or an SMG, but it's not going to be as slow as the Browning, so you're not going to constantly have zombies nipping at your ass and constantly swiping at you. So if you were to ask me which weapon would I prefer to have on round 50, I'm definitely going to take the Gorgon. The Gorgon may not have what I love, may not have a fast fire rate, it may not carry a lot of ammo, but you move so much faster with it, and it can actually get some stuff done on high rounds. Now, if you were to ask me which one do I prefer, I gotta go with the Browning, man. I just have a lot of fond memories of me sitting on that catwalk with the Browning, somebody else having the MG42, somebody else having a ray gun, somebody having the PPSH and the Wunderwaffe. It may just be straight nostalgia, but I love the Browning. I think it looks amazing. I think it sounds amazing. It's just an overall fun weapon to have, and that's just why I love it. So I'm very curious to know, which weapon do you guys prefer, the Browning or the Gorgon? Let me know in the comments, and if you guys could, please leave a like and subscribe if you have not already. Peace.